Today is day two of the 31 reasons to get over a breakup. During this month, we're going to go each day. I'm going to talk about each different reason as to why getting over a breakup is important. So today we're on day two. It's August 2nd and it's day two. Yesterday we talked about rebuilding confidence. And today what we're going to talk about is regaining self-worth. Okay, so what I really want to go into is with self worth during the relationship, after the breakup, our self worth actually becomes more depleted. And we could either take it two ways. Okay, we could either take the breakup as a fulfilling, desired, grateful moment, or we can take it in as in we don't know what to do with our lives. This hurts. There's a lot of pain dealing with this breakup, heartbreak, or divorce. And when we start to feel those emotions of sadness, grief, loneliness, anger, resentment, sorrow, our self-worth is in question. And what we find is that we become more encapsulated by those feelings we are feeling. And it actually becomes more difficult as time goes on. It becomes more difficult to know what our self worth is. So you might have heard the saying that time heals. Well, the disconnect with that statement is that sure, time heals. Time just makes those painful feelings not seem so painful. But the issue, the root cause of everything is still there. Your self-worth is still in question. And it doesn't matter if it's one day or 1 year or 10 years or 30 years, no matter what, if you are questioning your self-worth, no matter what relationship you get into, what type of friendships you have, or quality family relationships, or your work, or your leisure activities, your hobbies, it doesn't matter what you do. Time doesn't heal that part of us. Time doesn't heal self-worth issues. Again, time heals the intensity of those painful feelings. But just because the intensity of those feelings subsides does not mean we regain our self worth. There's a lot of deep issues when we deal with a breakup, heartbreak, or divorce. There's a lot of deeper issues than what we think on the surface level. And sometimes it's really, really hard to go into those. And that's why it's so important to have a safe and supportive space, but to also look and to talk to someone who, one, knows what you're going through, and number two, has been there, and number three, who knows a tried and tested way to get you out of where you are. So when our self-worth is in question, and that always happens after a breakup, again, if we don't get the proper help, if we don't talk to anyone about what we're going through, I can guarantee that you will live the rest of your life always questioning your worth. And it might not come up in what we think. It might not come up in the way that we expect or think that our worth is supposed to be questioned. And again, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, or 30 years, it doesn't matter. So one of the big things here is, you hear about people having rebounding relationships to try to get over it, right? Well, when our self-worth is in question and we're trying to rebuild that, then what happens is that we get into these other relationships and we're never complete, we're never whole. So that's why it's so important to get over a breakup, is that we can regain our self-worth by doing that. And one of the there's not just one, but there's so many positive effects when we feel worthy, when we are complete. It almost feels like nothing can stop us. We can take over the world, and that's a great feeling. I don't want you to think that, taking over the world and being the best, like being the confident man that you are, that's not allowed. The world needs more people with self-worth. The world needs more people who are worthy, who show up as themselves. And we talked about rebuilding confidence in the yesterday, but this time we're talking about self-worth. And self-worth goes deeper. And what I mean by that is that confidence it's a very surface level type of thing. Like, I can be confident. I can walk around the hallways. I can walk into work feeling good, or not feeling good, but I can portray confidence. I can exude confidence. But self-worth is deep. Self-worth goes all the way inside ourselves. And that's why it's so important to regain it after a breakup, because that's deep inside of us. And when we are complete and when we are whole inside, then the external world matches the internal world. When we feel worthless or unworthy, or we have low self-worth, the outside world will match the inside world. It's the same thing. And that's why it's so important to regain our self-worth after a breakup, heartbreak, or divorce. Because if we don't do it, we'll continue on this downward spiral. And you might have heard the analogy of the snowball effect. Something, it builds over time and keeps getting bigger. So even though we think that time heals, and I talked about the intensity of our pain diminishing, it's still a snowball effect. When we don't fix our self-worth, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's happening within us. And sometimes that can come out in, sure, mental emotions. Think about PTSD, think about depression, anxiety. These are serious illnesses. These are serious diseases. And what about on the physical side? What about heart disease, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, cancer? Those are all related to some sort of emotional suppression that we are holding inside of ourselves. So again, these are some of the pain points, but I think it's really important to understand that by going into the pain points, we can understand why it's so important to regain our self-worth after a breakup. And just imagine, like, if you're meeting someone, and you start to go out on dates and you're having a good time, if you're not complete inside, don't for 1 second think that they can't pick it up. Energetically, how your face demeanor is, how your mannerisms are, everything, they can pick it up. The only time that it might seem that it works out is because they have low self-worth as well. So imagine that. Imagine getting into a relationship where this person has just as much self-worth as you do, which is 0 to non-existent. That's pretty scary stuff. So whether you're going through the breakup, heartbreak, or divorce, you just recently went over it or not, or it's been years and years and years, just know that regaining your self-worth will actually put you back out into the field where you can meet new people, you can have quality friendships, and you can be the best version of yourself. Thanks for joining, and we'll catch you on day 3. Thank you.